Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle their entire lives? What if I told you that winning the lottery has almost nothing to do with luck and everything to do with spiritual alignment? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the globe. Has this ever happened to you? You've played the lottery countless times, carefully selecting numbers that feel meaningful, birthdays, anniversaries, lucky digits, only to watch someone else claim the prize you've been visualizing for years. The conventional wisdom tells us that winning is purely statistical, a game of chance where the odds are stacked impossibly against us. But what if this fundamental assumption is what's keeping abundance from flowing into your life? Stay with me until the end, because the truth about manifestation and wealth might completely transform how you approach not just lottery tickets, but every aspect of your financial reality. You see, the lottery represents more than just a game of chance. It's a powerful symbol of sudden, effortless wealth. For most people, it remains a fantasy, a wild shot in the dark. But I believe you're not most people. You're here because something inside you already knows there's a deeper dimension to prosperity than what you've been told. What you're about to discover might surprise you, but it shouldn't shock you entirely. After all, you didn't stumble upon this message by accident. Your presence here isn't random or coincidental. You've been guided by an inner knowing, a quiet voice that's been whispering that there's more to wealth than hard work and lucky breaks. That voice has led you here because you're finally ready to access the spiritual principles that govern true abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this profound truth nearly a century ago. She knew that the universe operates through divine laws, not random chance. These laws work with perfect precision when you activate them from the inside out. Right now, as you're listening to these words, something is stirring within you. Those limiting beliefs that have kept you bound in financial struggle are beginning to soften and dissolve. The wealth you seek isn't out there waiting to be chased. It already exists in the invisible realm, waiting for you to align with it. Think about that for a moment. What if the lottery isn't about guessing the right numbers, but about becoming the right person? What if winning isn't about odds, but about energetic alignment with prosperity? This isn't just another think positive message. We're talking about something much more fundamental, a complete reimagining of your relationship with abundance. And it starts with understanding that you were never meant to struggle. You were designed to receive, to experience overflow in every area of your life. The question isn't whether unlimited prosperity is available to you. The real question is, are you ready to step into the version of yourself who naturally attracts it? Because that journey begins right now as we explore the forgotten spiritual science behind authentic manifestation. If these principles of manifestation have awakened something within you, hit the subscribe button below. I share these spiritual truths each week, and each video builds upon the last, creating a complete pathway to mastering the Oceani, art of conscious creation. You see, what we're really discussing here isn't about a single lottery win or one financial breakthrough. It's about a profound transformation of identity, becoming someone to whom money naturally and effortlessly flows. Can you imagine waking up each morning with absolute certainty that prosperity is your birthright? That financial abundance is as natural to you as breathing? This journey requires looking beyond the visible world of lottery tickets, bank accounts, and investment portfolios. It invites you to recognize that your relationship with money begins in the invisible realm of consciousness. Every dollar that enters or leaves your life follows invisible pathways that you've created through your deepest beliefs and assumptions. Here's the revelation that changed everything for me. There are divine laws governing wealth that operate with perfect precision, regardless of economic conditions, your background, or even your current circumstances. These aren't human laws that can be debated, amended, or broken. They're cosmic principles as reliable as gravity. When you align with these laws from within, The external world has no choice but to reflect this inner harmony. It's not about manipulating reality, it's about resonating with the abundance that already exists all around you. This is the hidden truth that most financial experts never discuss because it exists beyond the realm of conventional thinking. Right now, something remarkable is happening within your consciousness. Those limiting beliefs that have kept you bound in scarcity are beginning to dissolve. That quiet voice of truth, the one that has always known you were meant for prosperity, is getting louder. It's becoming more difficult to believe the old stories about struggle and limitation, because deep down, you've always known there was another way. The mindset shift required here is subtle, yet revolutionary. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who needs to chase after wealth, you begin recognizing yourself as someone who naturally attracts it. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. It's about a fundamental realignment with your authentic, abundant nature. Think about how this shift would impact every decision you make, how you'd approach opportunities, how you'd speak about money, how you'd feel when looking at your bank account. When your self-perception transforms, your entire financial journey transforms with it. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these divine principles manifest in practical reality. What does it actually look like when someone operates from this space of alignment? How do the invisible laws become visible results? The answer lies in understanding the profound connection between your inner assumptions and your outer experiences. If what I've shared resonates with your spirit, write "Abundance is my birthright" in the comments below. There's power in declaring this truth, and I'd love to see who among you feels ready to claim this natural state of prosperity. Let's explore what might be the most profound revelation in your prosperity journey, one that completely reframes the relationship between effort and abundance. Most of us have been conditioned to believe that wealth must be pursued, chased, and fought for. We've internalized the struggle narrative so deeply that we've come to equate financial difficulty with virtue. But what if this fundamental assumption is precisely what keeps most people locked in cycles of lack? The hidden truth that's emerging in your consciousness right now is both simple and revolutionary. You were never meant to struggle for prosperity. You were designed to receive it naturally, just as a flower effortlessly receives sunlight. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a recalibration to your authentic state. Think about nature for a moment. Do you see the oak tree straining to draw nutrients from the soil? Does the eagle exhaust itself trying to catch the wind beneath its wings? There's effort, yes, but not struggle. There's a profound difference. Natural systems operate through alignment, not through force. Your financial life is meant to follow this same divine pattern. This perspective shift creates a completely different internal landscape. When you no longer see yourself as separate from abundance, when you recognize it as your natural state, everything transforms. Your decisions come from a place of sufficiency rather than desperation. Your actions flow from inspiration rather than fear. This mindset revolution impacts every aspect of your relationship with money. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this principle perfectly when she wrote that abundance isn't something you earn through merit or win through competition. It's something you accept as your divine inheritance. The universe itself operates on principles of infinite supply, not scarcity. Look around at the cosmos. Countless stars, boundless energy, endless creativity. This is the true nature of the reality we inhabit. Ask and it shall be given isn't just a pleasant spiritual saying. It's a description of how the universe actually functions. It's a law as reliable as gravity or thermodynamics. The asking isn't begging or pleading. It's simply aligning your consciousness with what already exists in potential form, waiting for your recognition. What stands between most people and this natural state of receiving? Simply the veil of limiting beliefs, ideas about unworthiness, scarcity, and separation that were installed in our consciousness long before we could question them. These beliefs aren't facts. They're interpretations that can be released when they no longer serve your evolution. This journey toward receiving, rather than struggling, requires a fundamental reimagining of your relationship with the invisible world of cause and effect. When you understand that abundance begins in consciousness before it manifests in circumstances, you hold the master key to transformation. You recognize that your internal state is creating your external reality in every moment. The journey we've begun today is just the first step. If you're ready to go deeper into these transformative principles, subscribe now. When you do, you're not just following a channel, you're joining a community of conscious creators who are rewriting the rules of reality. Let me ask you something. What would change in your life if you truly, deeply accepted that you were born to receive abundance easily? How would your energy shift? What new possibilities might open before you? If you're beginning to feel this paradigm shift happening within you, type "I receive freely" in the comments. There's something powerful about declaring this truth, even if part of you still doubts it. Now let's explore why this path of effortless receiving feels so foreign to most people. From our earliest moments, we've been immersed in a collective mindset that glorifies struggle. We've absorbed countless stories where the hero must suffer before triumph, where wealth must be earned through pain, where prosperity must be justified through sacrifice. This conditioning runs so deep that when we see someone win the lottery, our immediate response isn't, "They were perfectly aligned with abundance." It's, "They got lucky." This perspective reveals the invisible barrier that separates most people from their natural state of prosperity. When you believe lottery winners are merely fortunate rather than aligned, you're reinforcing the false notion that you're fundamentally separate from wealth. You're accepting the illusion that abundance is something outside yourself that you must somehow acquire, rather than an expression of who you truly are. Let's examine this conditioning more closely. Notice how society often views wealthy individuals with suspicion, as if abundance itself were somehow immoral. Notice how financial struggle is often portrayed as virtuous, as if lack were somehow more spiritual than prosperity. These are not innocent perspectives. They're powerful programs running in your subconscious mind, determining your financial reality without your conscious awareness. The revelation that's transforming your relationship with money right now is this profound truth. Your outer world is always, without exception, a reflection of your inner assumptions. This isn't metaphorical. It's a precise description of how reality operates. The same divine intelligence that orchestrated galaxies and designed ecosystems created you with the innate capacity to prosper. This isn't wishful thinking, it's your authentic design. When you truly align with this understanding, wealth doesn't need to be chased or pursued. It naturally finds you through countless channels, seen and unseen. The lottery becomes just one of many potential pathways for abundance to reach you. Your job isn't to force these channels open through effort or struggle, but to allow them to open naturally by shifting your internal state. This is the sacred alchemy that most financial education completely misses. Behind the scenes of every transaction, every unexpected check, every financial breakthrough is this invisible law at work. Your external circumstances are always aligning themselves with your most deeply held internal assumptions about prosperity. The mastery of manifestation isn't about controlling external conditions. It's about becoming conscious of these inner assumptions and deliberately choosing those that serve your highest good. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts of limitation, scarcity, or unworthiness, you're witnessing the very source of any financial challenges you might be experiencing. The journey of transformation isn't about adding something new to yourself. It's about removing the conditioning that has obscured your natural state of abundance. It's about recognizing that prosperity isn't something you achieve. It's something you remember. It's who you already are beneath the layers of societal programming. If you're beginning to recognize how deeply this conditioning has influenced your financial reality, write "I'm breaking free" in the comments. Naming this awareness is the first step in reclaiming your natural state of abundance. So what happens when we begin to shift from seeing wealth as something to be achieved to recognizing it as our natural default state? This revelation changes Everything. Consider for a moment that prosperity isn't the exception. It's actually the rule. It's not something extraordinary that happens to a lucky few. It's the baseline design for every human life, including yours. The lottery, then, transforms from being a desperate gamble to just one of countless channels through which your natural abundance expresses itself. When you truly embody this understanding, you stop chasing prosperity and start assuming it. This subtle mindset revolution creates an entirely different energetic signature. The universe responds not to what you want, but to who you are being. Think about water flowing through a garden. It doesn't struggle to find its path. It naturally flows through whatever channels are open. Abundance works the same way. When you stop blocking the flow with doubt, fear, and scarcity thinking, these channels, opportunities, synchronicities, inspirations, and yes, even lottery wins, open naturally. This journey requires a fundamental reprogramming of your subconscious mind, because that's where your deepest assumptions about wealth are stored. When you speak powerful affirmations like, "Infinite abundance is my divine right," you're not trying to convince the external world of anything. You're speaking directly to your own subconscious, reminding it of a truth that was always real. The words themselves carry a vibrational quality that begins to dissolve the old programming and restore your natural alignment with prosperity. This isn't about positive thinking in a superficial sense. It's about consciously directing your mental and emotional energy toward what you wish to experience. Florence Scovel Shinn understood the power of these verbal declarations. She knew they weren't magic spells, but rather tools for awakening what was already encoded within you. When you declare, "I open myself to receive prosperity through every channel, seen and unseen," you're not creating something new. You're simply removing the blocks to what was always there. This is where the transformation becomes so personal and profound. Each time you speak these words with genuine feeling, you're literally rewiring neural pathways in your brain. You're creating new thought habits that align with your authentic, prosperous nature. The impact of this practice goes far beyond just attracting money. It fundamentally shifts how you move through the world. Behind the scenes of every thought is an energetic blueprint that's constantly shaping your reality. Most people never become conscious of these blueprints, allowing default programming to determine their financial lives. But you're different. You're awakening to the extraordinary power of deliberate consciousness, the ability to choose the assumptions from which you live. This awakening doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey of consistent realignment, of gently but persistently redirecting your thoughts whenever they drift back into scarcity. Each time you catch yourself in limitation and pivot to abundance, you're strengthening new neural pathways that support your prosperity. If you're beginning to feel the resonance of these affirmations within you, type, "I am aligned with abundance," in the comments. There's something powerful about declaring this intention in writing. Now let's explore the extraordinary principle that truly separates those who manifest prosperity consistently from those who remain trapped in cycles of lack. This revelation might challenge everything you've been taught about cause and effect, but it contains the master key to manifestation. According to divine law, you don't win the lottery by random chance or lucky numbers. You win because you've already claimed the victory within your consciousness. This might seem counterintuitive at first, but it's precisely how manifestation actually works. The external event, holding that winning ticket in your hand, is not the beginning of your success story. It's the final chapter, the physical confirmation of a victory that was already complete in your inner world. When you truly grasp this principle, your entire approach to creation undergoes a profound transformation. Most people live as if the opposite were true. They believe that once they have the money, then they'll feel wealthy. Once they win the lottery, then they'll feel the freedom. But this approach keeps prosperity perpetually in the future, always one step ahead of where they stand. The breakthrough comes when you reverse this equation, when you choose to feel the wealth, embody the freedom, and live the prosperity before there's any external evidence to support it. This isn't pretending or self-deception. It's aligning with a higher truth that Florence Scovel Shinn understood with remarkable clarity. Every desired outcome, whether it's financial abundance, perfect health, or harmonious relationships, already exists in what she called the fourth dimension, the invisible realm where all possibilities are fully realized and complete. Think of it as a vast library of potential realities, each one as real as the chair you're sitting in right now. Your lottery win isn't something that needs to be created from scratch. It's already there, fully formed in this invisible dimension. Your task isn't to force it into existence through effort or struggle, but simply to align your consciousness with this finished reality. This revelation completely transforms your relationship with time. Most manifestation approaches involve projecting your desires into a distant future. Someday I'll have enough. But true creation happens when you collapse time and live from the consciousness of it being done now. In the fourth dimension, there is no waiting, no timeline, no process, just the immediate experience of your desire fulfilled. The journey of manifestation, then, isn't about making something happen. It's about tuning your awareness to a channel that's already broadcasting your prosperity. It's about becoming so aligned with the feeling of having already received that your outer world has no choice but to reflect this inner knowing. Behind the scenes of every manifestation is this hidden dynamic, the shift from hoping to knowing, from seeking to finding, from becoming to being. When you operate from the consciousness of your desire already fulfilled, you emit an entirely different frequency. You're no longer broadcasting "I want" or "I need," but rather "I am" and "I have." This energetic signature is what the universe responds to. The practical application of this principle is both simple and revolutionary. Feel it real. Live from the end. Experience the emotion of your lottery win as if it has already happened. Let every cell in your body vibrate with the certainty of it being done. This emotional commitment is what bridges the gap between the invisible and the visible. If this principle is illuminating something within you, write "I live from the end result" in the comments. There's a special power in acknowledging this shift in consciousness. Let's explore one of the most misunderstood aspects of manifestation, the true power of your imagination. In our culture, imagination is often dismissed as childish fantasy or idle daydreaming. It's just your imagination, we're told, as if that somehow diminishes its significance. But this perspective misses the profound creative force that imagination truly represents. Your imagination isn't a mental playground where you escape reality. It's actually the workshop where reality is fashioned before it appears in your physical experience. It's the sacred bridge between the invisible realm of potential and the visible world of manifestation. When you engage your imagination with emotional intensity and persistent focus, you're not just fantasizing, you're literally building the energetic template for your future experiences. Florence Scovel Shinn recognized this truth decades ago, teaching that imagination is the very beginning of all creation. The images you hold in your mind, especially those charged with genuine feeling, become the blueprints that the universe works from. This isn't mystical thinking. It's a description of how consciousness interacts with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. If you felt that resonance of truth as we explored these principles together, take a moment to press the like button. It's a simple way to affirm, yes, this matters to me, and it helps others who are seeking this wisdom find their way here too. When you imagine yourself holding that winning lottery ticket with vivid detail and authentic emotion, feeling the weight of the check in your hands, experiencing the rush of excitement, sensing the freedom that comes with financial abundance, you're not just engaging in wishful thinking. You're actually transmitting a specific frequency into the field of potential, attracting the corresponding reality into your life. This principle becomes even more powerful when we examine real-world examples like Cynthia Stafford. Her story isn't just inspiring, it's a perfect case study in deliberate manifestation. Stafford didn't just casually wish for a lottery win. She specifically visualized winning $112 million, not as a vague hope, but as a lived experience. For months she engaged in what we might call living in the end. She saw herself holding that exact check amount. She felt the emotions of freedom and abundance that came with it. She walked, talked, and breathed as the version of herself who had already won. Most importantly, she didn't approach this as a technique or trick. She embodied it as her truth. When she finally purchased her ticket, she wasn't hoping or praying. She was simply participating in the final physical step of a manifestation that was already complete in her consciousness. And then it happened, exactly as she had imagined it, down to the precise amount of $112 million. This isn't coincidence or luck. It's divine law in action. Stafford wasn't trying to win the lottery. She was already the winner in her consciousness, and the external reality simply aligned itself with this inner knowing. This is the revelation that transforms ordinary manifestation into extraordinary creation. You don't use your imagination to convince the universe to give you something. You use it to align with what's already yours in the invisible realm. The practical wisdom here is profound. Spend time each day not just thinking about your desires but experiencing them as present realities through the portal of your imagination. Make these inner experiences so vivid, so emotionally charged that they begin to feel more real than your current circumstances. This consistent practice creates a bridge that your desires can cross from potential into manifestation. If you've ever experienced the power of imagination bringing something into your life, write, "My imagination creates reality," in the comments. I'm curious to hear how this creative force has already been working through you. Now, I want to go even deeper into what truly activates the manifestation process. Many people engage with visualization techniques or affirmations, but still don't experience the results they desire. The missing element is almost always emotional conviction. Vague wishing or intellectual understanding simply doesn't generate the energetic frequency required for manifestation. What transforms possibility into reality is the emotional certainty that it's already yours. Think about the difference between hoping for something and knowing it's done. These states produce entirely different vibrational signatures. Hope is always future-oriented, always containing a seed of doubt. But genuine faith, the kind that moves mountains, exists in the present tense. It's not, "I hope I win the lottery someday." It's, "It is done, and I feel the reality of it now." This emotional conviction doesn't just happen once. It's not a momentary visualization or a single declaration. It's a consistent state of being that you return to again and again, until living in the assumption of having already received becomes more natural than living in lack. This is the inner transformation that precedes all external change, when the feeling of your desire fulfilled becomes more real to you than its absence. Behind the scenes of this process is a profound revelation that Florence Scovel Shinn understood with remarkable clarity. The pattern of your prosperity already exists in divine mind. You don't need to create abundance from scratch. You don't need to convince the universe to give you something it's been withholding. The perfect pattern of your wealth, your specific path to prosperity, is already established in the infinite intelligence that orchestrates the cosmos. Your journey isn't about building something that doesn't exist. It's about aligning with what already is. This alignment happens primarily through your imagination, which serves as the sacred connector between your individual consciousness and the universal mind. When you conceive of a possibility with clarity and believe in it with unwavering conviction, you're not creating a new reality. You're simply tuning into a frequency that already exists. This understanding releases the burden of having to make prosperity happen through force or effort. Instead, your focus shifts to alignment, bringing your thoughts, feelings, and expectations into harmony with the prosperity that's already yours in the invisible realm. This is the hidden secret behind the principle that what you can conceive and believe, you can achieve with absolute certainty. The practical application involves cultivating a relationship with your desires as if they're already fulfilled. You speak about your prosperity in the present tense. You make decisions from the mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. You feel gratitude for what's coming as if it's already arrived. This isn't pretending. It's aligning with a higher truth that transcends your temporary circumstances. The journey of manifestation becomes a process of remembrance rather than acquisition. You're not trying to get something you lack. You're remembering who you truly are, a being designed for abundance, already connected to infinite supply. This paradigm shift doesn't just change your results, it transforms your entire experience of the manifestation journey. If you've started to feel this shift from hoping to knowing, from seeking to finding, share "I align with divine patterns" in the comments. Your declaration becomes part of your alignment process. This understanding fundamentally transforms how you approach something like buying a lottery ticket. From the conventional perspective, purchasing a ticket is a gamble, a statistical long shot with overwhelming odds against you. But from the perspective of spiritual law, everything changes. When you buy a ticket from the consciousness of having already seen the end result, of already knowing you've won, you're not gambling at all. You're simply participating in the final physical step of claiming what is already yours in the invisible realm. Think about that profound shift for a moment. Most people clutch their tickets with nervous anticipation, desperately hoping the random numbers align with their selection. But you're different. You approach the entire process with a quiet knowing, a peaceful certainty that transcends hope or chance. You're not trying to beat odds. You're aligning with what's already been orchestrated in divine mind. This revelation completely reframes your relationship with uncertainty. Most people live in fear of the unknown, but when you understand this principle, uncertainty becomes exciting rather than frightening. It's not a question of if your prosperity will arrive, but simply through which channel and in which perfect timing. The lottery becomes just one of many pathways through which your already established good can flow to you. The depth of this wisdom creates a profound inner revolution. You're no longer the person anxiously checking numbers, desperate for a win. You're now the person who walks with the calm confidence of someone who already knows the outcome. This identity shift ripples through every aspect of your life, transforming not just your financial reality, but your entire way of being in the world. What you're encountering right now isn't merely information to be intellectually understood. It's a doorway to complete transformation, an invitation to step through into a new dimension of living. The insights being revealed here aren't just concepts to think about. They're catalysts designed to trigger a fundamental shift in how you perceive yourself and your relationship with abundance. The declaration, "I am a natural winner, I always receive," isn't just a positive affirmation or a feel-good phrase. It's a recognition of your true identity, a reclamation of your natural state. When you speak these words with conviction, you're not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You're actually remembering who you really are beneath the layers of conditioning that have obscured your authentic nature. There's something extraordinarily powerful about making this declaration, not just privately, but as part of a collective consciousness. When you join with others in affirming this truth, you create a resonant field that amplifies the manifestation process. This is the hidden power behind why communities of like-minded believers often experience synchronistic breakthroughs. They're collectively holding a frequency that accelerates individual manifestations. The journey of consciousness never unfolds in isolation. Every shift in your perception creates ripples that extend far beyond your personal experience. As you step into this new identity as someone who naturally wins, who effortlessly receives, you become a living demonstration of what's possible. Your transformation becomes a beacon that illuminates the path for others. If you can feel this identity shift happening within you right now, this transition from hoping to knowing, from gambling to receiving, write "I claim my natural state" in the comments. Something powerful happens when you publicly declare the truth that's awakening within you. Now let's explore where the true power in manifestation actually resides. Most people believe the power is outside themselves, in the lottery ticket, in the drawing machine, in the statistical odds, or even in luck itself. But this external focus is precisely what keeps manifestation elusive. The profound revelation that changes everything is this. The power has never been in these external factors. It has always been in your assumption. This isn't just a slight shift in perspective, it's a complete revolution in how you understand creation. The ticket itself has no power. The numbers have no power. Even the billion-dollar jackpot has no power in itself. The only real power in this entire equation is the assumption you hold in consciousness. You win when you assume you've already won. Not after the drawing, not when the numbers match, but in the sacred moment when your inner knowing becomes more real than external evidence. This assumption isn't a surface-level thought or a temporary positive attitude. It's a deeply held conviction that permeates your entire being. It becomes the foundation from which you live, move, and make decisions. Most profoundly, it transitions from being something you do to being who you are. Your assumption of having already won becomes your very identity. Think about the radical transformation this creates. When you fully embody the identity of someone who is naturally prosperous, who effortlessly receives, who consistently wins, not from ego or arrogance, but from spiritual alignment, everything about you undergoes a metamorphosis. This isn't something you can fake or pretend. It's a genuine evolution of your being. The way you walk changes. There's a quiet confidence in your step, a natural grace that comes from inner certainty. The way you speak transforms. Your words carry the resonance of truth rather than the energy of need or lack. Your very presence emanates a calm assurance that doesn't require external validation or approval. This identity shift happens at the deepest level of consciousness. You're no longer someone trying to win the lottery. You're the person for whom winning is natural and expected. You're not hoping to receive abundance. You're the embodiment of abundance itself. This isn't just a mental game. It's a complete realignment of your energetic signature. The revelation that most people miss is that manifestation always moves from being to having, never the reverse. You don't get something and then become the kind of person who would have it. You become that person first, in consciousness, and then the having naturally follows. This is the divine sequence that never fails. Be, then do, then have. Behind the scenes of every genuine transformation is this hidden shift in identity. When you truly know yourself as a natural winner, when this knowing permeates every cell of your body, you emit a frequency that the universe can't help but respond to. You're no longer broadcasting mixed signals of hope and doubt, desire and fear. You're transmitting a clear, consistent signal of certainty. This journey of embodiment isn't an overnight process. It's a gradual unfolding, a daily practice of choosing which identity you'll live from. Each time you catch yourself thinking, speaking, or acting from the old identity of lack, you have the opportunity to pivot to the truth of who you really are, the natural winner who always receives. If you're beginning to feel this identity shift taking place within you, write, "I am becoming who I truly am," in the comments. Naming this transformation is a powerful way to accelerate it. Now let's examine one of the most counterintuitive aspects of manifestation that often trips people up on their journey. There's a profound paradox at the heart of creation that completely transforms how you approach your desires. Most people mistakenly believe manifestation requires intense effort, constant visualization, and forceful action. They're constantly chasing outcomes, trying to make things happen through sheer will. But this approach actually creates resistance that blocks the very thing they're trying to attract. True manifestation operates according to an entirely different principle. It doesn't require pushing or forcing. It flourishes in an atmosphere of relaxed certainty. When you truly understand the law of assumption, you realize that struggle isn't necessary. You simply relax into the knowing that what you desire is already yours in the invisible realm. You feel it as real, not as something you're desperately trying to acquire, but as something that already belongs to you. This relaxed approach isn't passive or lazy. It's actually the most powerful stance you can take. When you release the anxiety of trying to control exactly how and when your manifestation will arrive, you open yourself to infinite possibilities. You allow divine intelligence to orchestrate the perfect unfolding in ways that your limited perspective couldn't possibly imagine. This surrender isn't weakness, it's actually the ultimate strength. The guidance for your journey comes not from external strategies or rigid plans, but from the subtle nudges of your own inner knowing. When you're relaxed in the certainty of your manifestation, you become exquisitely sensitive to these intuitive promptings. You recognize them as divine orchestration rather than random thoughts. And following this guidance without resistance creates a path of least effort toward your manifestation. This approach reveals the fundamental difference between a gambler and a creator. A gambler is someone who bets against the odds, hoping for a favorable outcome while knowing the deck is stacked against them. They're bound by statistics, probability, and chance. Their entire experience is characterized by uncertainty and anxiety. Is this how you've been approaching the lottery? As a game of chance where you're statistically likely to lose? A creator operates by an entirely different set of rules. They don't bet against odds, they play within divine law. They're not hoping for a lucky break, they're aligning with principles that never fail when properly applied. They're not bound by statistics, but guided by truth. They don't approach the lottery with nervous anticipation, but with the calm certainty of someone who already knows the outcome. This distinction completely transforms your relationship with manifestation. When you stop seeing yourself as a gambler, hoping for a lucky break, and start recognizing yourself as a creator, operating within perfect law, everything changes. Your energy shifts from desperate wanting to peaceful knowing. Your actions flow not from anxiety, but from inspiration. You're no longer trying to manipulate external conditions. You're simply allowing your inner state to be reflected in your outer experience. This perspective doesn't just apply to lottery wins, but becomes your entire approach to life. You begin creating all aspects of your reality from this same relaxed certainty: relationships, health, purpose, joy. You're no longer at the mercy of random circumstance, but operating as the conscious author of your experience. If you're feeling a shift from effort to ease, from forcing to allowing, write "I create with relaxed certainty" in the comments. This simple acknowledgement can be a powerful catalyst in your manifestation journey. Now let's explore an essential element of manifestation that brings profound peace to the entire process: divine timing. One of the most common frustrations people experience on their manifestation journey is impatience. They've done the inner work, they've aligned their consciousness, they've assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, but the external evidence hasn't yet appeared. This gap between inner knowing and outer confirmation can create doubt, anxiety, and even abandonment of the process. But here's the revelation that transforms this experience. Everything is always working in your favor, even when it appears nothing is happening. When you walk with quiet confidence, you understand that if your manifestation hasn't appeared, yet in physical form, it's only because the pieces are still arranging themselves in perfect order. This isn't a delay or a denial. It's divine orchestration, ensuring that your manifestation unfolds in the most harmonious way possible. Think of it as a cosmic symphony where countless elements must align perfectly for your desired outcome to manifest. The right numbers, the right drawing, the right moment, all orchestrated by an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind could comprehend. Your job isn't to force this symphony to play faster, it's to trust the conductor. This perspective completely transforms how you experience the waiting period. It's no longer an anxious time of wondering if your manifestation practice is working. Instead, it becomes a sacred space of anticipation, a time of knowing that powerful forces are at work behind the scenes, arranging circumstances in ways you couldn't possibly engineer on your own. Florence Scovel Shinn described this brilliantly when she taught that the divine is never early, never late, but always perfectly on time. This isn't spiritual platitude. It's a precise description of how manifestation unfolds. The journey requires developing a profound trust in timing that transcends your personal preferences or anxieties. When you genuinely know that your lottery win is already yours in the invisible realm, It completely transforms how you approach the physical steps of the process. You're no longer frantically buying tickets with desperate hope. You're no longer analyzing systems or chasing hot numbers with nervous energy. Instead, you relax into a state of trust, following the subtle nudges of inspiration that come from within. These inspirational promptings might guide you to purchase a ticket on a specific day, from a particular location, or with certain numbers. When these nudges arise, you follow them not with anxious anticipation, but with calm joy, the peaceful certainty of someone who knows they're simply participating in the outer expression of an inner creation that's already complete. This is the profound difference in the consciousness of a true creator versus someone merely hoping for a lucky break. When you buy your ticket from this aligned state, you're not gambling. You're harvesting. You're not placing a bet. You're collecting on an inner victory already won. This revelation transforms every aspect of the experience, from anxiety to peaceful participation in a divine unfolding. The journey of manifestation becomes less about straining to make something happen, and more about allowing what's already created in consciousness to appear in form. It's a dance of co-creation where your role is alignment rather than force, trust rather than control, inspiration rather than calculation. If you've experienced this shift from anxious waiting to peaceful knowing in any area of your life, write "I trust divine timing" in the comments. Your journey of alignment is uniquely your own, and your insights may inspire others on a similar path. Now, I want to go even deeper into what Florence Scovel Shinn called the great secret of manifestation. In her timeless wisdom, she taught that to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to awaken the creative act itself. This isn't just beautiful language. It's a precise description of how consciousness creates reality. When you assume the feeling of your lottery win as already accomplished, you're not just practicing a technique, you're actually initiating the creative process at its source. This profound insight reveals the true nature of creation. Most people believe that feeling follows manifestation, that you'll feel wealthy after you win the lottery. But the exact opposite is true. The feeling must precede the manifestation. It's the feeling that creates the reality, not the other way around. This is the revelation that transforms your entire approach to creation. Through the portal of your imagination, you literally enter the scene of your fulfilled desire. You don't just think about winning abstractly. You immerse yourself completely in the experience. You feel the weight of the check in your hands. You sense the surge of joy and relief. You experience the freedom that comes with financial abundance. And most importantly, you live from this reality right now, not at some distant future point. This isn't pretending or make-believe in the childish sense. It's actually engaging with a higher dimension of reality, where your desire is already fulfilled. When you consistently occupy this state, you transmit a signal that the universe must respond to, because consciousness is the only true causative force in the cosmos. Your inner state becomes the template for your outer experience through this mysterious but perfect law. The revelation that most people miss is that once you've genuinely assumed this state of fulfillment, the universe begins communicating with you in a new way. You'll start noticing subtle nudges and signs that confirm you're in alignment with your manifestation. Specific numbers might repeatedly catch your attention. Certain dates might feel significant. Patterns might emerge that seem beyond coincidence. These synchronicities aren't random occurrences. They're personalized communications from divine intelligence. They're cosmic breadcrumbs guiding you along the path to your manifestation. Most people dismiss these subtle signals as meaningless coincidences, but those who understand the language of manifestation recognize them as sacred guidance. These nudges might direct you to purchase a lottery ticket on a specific day, or from a particular location. You might feel drawn to certain numbers without logical explanation. A dream might reveal a sequence that stays with you upon waking. These impressions don't come from your logical mind. They emerge from your connection to infinite intelligence, which knows the perfect path to your manifestation. The breakthrough comes when you stop questioning these intuitive promptings and start honoring them as the divine orchestration they truly are. Your rational mind will always try to dismiss them. It's just coincidence. It's just my imagination. But when you understand the mechanics of manifestation, you recognize that these subtle signals are actually the universe responding to your shifted consciousness. This dance between inner alignment and outer guidance creates a seamless journey toward your manifestation. You're no longer trying to force results through mental effort. Instead, you're participating in a co-creative process, listening for the next inspired action that aligns with what you've already created in consciousness. If you've experienced these mysterious nudges or synchronicities in your own life, write, "I recognize divine guidance," in the comments. There's profound wisdom in acknowledging the subtle ways the universe speaks to you. Now let's explore one of the most significant inner battles you'll face on this manifestation journey: the tension between your logical mind and your intuitive knowing. This conflict isn't just a minor obstacle, it represents a fundamental crossroads in your transformation. Your rational mind, brilliant as it is for navigating the physical world, becomes your greatest hindrance when working with invisible laws of creation. When those intuitive signals begin to arrive, a number that keeps appearing, a dream with a specific sequence, a location that keeps drawing your attention, your logical mind immediately jumps in with dismissals. That's just coincidence, it insists. You're making connections that aren't real. That's just your imagination running wild. This analytical resistance isn't malicious. It's simply your brain's attempt to make sense of something that transcends its understanding. The breakthrough comes when you recognize that manifestation operates beyond the realm of logic. It functions according to laws that your rational mind wasn't designed to comprehend. This doesn't mean abandoning intelligence. It means accessing a deeper intelligence that connects you directly to the infinite mind that orchestrates the cosmos. This is the knowing that transcends thinking, the wisdom that precedes analysis. Learning to trust this deeper knowing represents one of the most profound evolutions in human consciousness. It's a return to a more primal, intuitive relationship with reality, one that existed before we became so dominated by analytical thought. The mystics, sages, and manifestors throughout history all shared this common trait. They trusted their knowing over their logical objections. This trust doesn't develop overnight. It's cultivated through consistent practice and validation. Each time you follow an intuitive nudge and witness the perfect unfolding that results, your confidence in this deeper intelligence grows. Each synchronicity becomes evidence that you're tapping into something far greater than your individual mind. Now, I want to go even deeper into the practical process of receiving this guidance clearly. In our constantly buzzing world of notifications, deadlines, and distractions, the subtle voice of intuition often gets drowned out by mental noise. Creating deliberate stillness becomes essential for anyone serious about manifestation. This practice begins with the simplest yet most powerful action, a conscious breath. When you intentionally slow and deepen your breathing, you signal to your nervous system that it's safe to release the vigilant analytical mode and enter a more receptive state. In this relaxed space, set a clear intention. Show me the numbers that align with my highest good. Then, the most challenging part begins, waiting without forcing. In this receptive silence, allow impressions to arise naturally without grasping or straining. These may come as visual images, feelings, memories, or simply numbers that feel significant. They might appear immediately or emerge days later in dreams or random moments. The key is not to dismiss these impressions, but to record them without judgment or analysis. This receptivity represents a fundamental shift from the traditional manifesting approach of constant visualization and affirmation. Instead, it acknowledges that true creation is a dialogue. You speak your intention into the field, and then you listen for the response. This sacred exchange creates a pathway between your individual consciousness and the infinite intelligence that knows exactly how to bring your desire into form. If you've experienced moments where following your intuition led to extraordinary outcomes that logic could never have predicted, share "My intuition speaks wisdom" in the comments. These personal testimonies strengthen our collective understanding of how manifestation truly works. This journey of manifestation invites you to embrace one of the most profound spiritual principles ever articulated: walking by faith, not by sight. This isn't just a poetic phrase. It's a precise description of how consciousness creates reality. When you follow intuitive guidance, despite what your physical senses are showing you, you're not engaging in superstition or magical thinking. You're actually aligning yourself with infinite intelligence in its purest form. Think about what happens when you approach manifestation from this perspective. The world says, "Show me the winning ticket first, then I'll believe." But you operate from a higher law that says, "I believe first, then I'll see the winning ticket." This reversal of the conventional sequence, putting faith before evidence, is what distinguishes genuine creators from mere observers of life. This approach requires a profound courage that most people never develop. It means trusting the invisible currents of guidance even when they make no logical sense. It means buying a lottery ticket because of a dream or intuition rather than a calculated strategy. It means living from a place of knowing that transcends what your eyes can see or your hands can touch. Florence Scovel Shinn recognized this as the fundamental shift in consciousness that precedes all genuine transformation. The natural winner doesn't require external validation to sustain their certainty. They walk through the world with an unshakable inner knowing that prosperity is already theirs, regardless of what current circumstances might suggest. This isn't delusion. It's alignment with a higher truth that eventually reshapes physical reality. Now, I want to go even deeper into what happens when you declare this truth openly and boldly. There's something mysteriously powerful about speaking your truth aloud. Something that transcends mere psychological reinforcement. When you affirm, "I am a natural winner, I always receive," with conviction, you're not just talking to yourself. You're literally broadcasting this frequency into the quantum field of infinite potential. This declaration creates vibrational ripples that extend far beyond your immediate environment. It's as if you're stamping this truth into the very fabric of reality, creating an energetic signature that the universe must respond to. This isn't wishful thinking. It's working with the fundamental creative force of the cosmos. The revelation that transforms this practice from mere affirmation to powerful decree is understanding that words carry creative energy. When spoken with genuine feeling and conviction, they become containers for consciousness itself. This is why ancient traditions placed such emphasis on mantras, incantations, and declarations. They recognized the creative power inherent in the spoken word. Writing your declaration amplifies this effect even further. There's something profoundly anchoring about seeing your truth expressed in physical form. When you write, "I am a natural winner, I always receive," you're creating a bridge between the invisible realm of consciousness and the visible world of form. This tangible expression helps to solidify your alignment with the prosperity that's already yours. This practice isn't about convincing yourself of something that isn't true. It's about acknowledging what has always been true beneath the layers of limiting beliefs and societal conditioning. Each time you declare this truth, you're not creating something new. You're remembering who you really are and broadcasting that remembrance as a signal. That shapes your reality. If you've experienced the power of speaking your truth aloud, share "My words create my reality" in the comments. Your testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to hear on their journey of manifestation. Now let's explore what might be the most challenging aspect of this entire manifestation process, yet also the most transformative. While it's effortless to believe in abundance when you're already holding the winning lottery ticket in your hands, the real power, the true creative force, comes from believing before you see any physical evidence. This is where most people abandon their manifestation journey, right at the threshold of their breakthrough. Think about the radical shift in consciousness this requires. You're not waiting for external circumstances to dictate your internal state. You're choosing to live as if your lottery win is already complete in every aspect of your daily life, making decisions from that place, feeling emotions from that place, even having conversations from that place. This isn't pretending or wishful thinking. It's aligning with a reality that already exists in the invisible realm. This level of faith represents a profound revolution in human consciousness. It's the ability to stand firmly in a truth that your physical senses cannot yet verify. When you wake up in the morning, you're not hoping to become wealthy someday. You're experiencing the inner reality of prosperity now. When you go about your day, you're moving through the world as someone who is already abundant, not someone still waiting for abundance to arrive. The revelation that transforms this practice from mere technique to profound spiritual mastery is the understanding that this isn't just about the lottery. This exact same principle, this unwavering assumption of the wish fulfilled, creates breakthroughs in every area of life. The lottery is simply one channel, one expression of a much greater principle at work. When you truly embody this level of assumption, you create an energetic signature that attracts abundance through countless pathways, many of which you couldn't possibly have imagined. Unexpected income appears from sources you never considered. Generous gifts arrive at perfect moments. Opportunities present themselves that were previously invisible to you. Synchronistic breakthroughs occur that defy logical explanation. Behind the scenes of this process is a fundamental law that most people never discover. Your external reality must conform to your inner assumption, not sometimes, not occasionally, but always, with mathematical precision. Your job isn't to figure out how the universe will deliver your prosperity. Your job is simply to maintain the inner state of having already received, and then watch in wonder as the infinite intelligence orchestrates the perfect unfolding. This journey represents the ultimate sovereignty, the recognition that you're not a passive recipient of random circumstances, but the conscious creator of your experience. When you truly grasp that your assumption creates your reality in every moment, you reclaim the creative power that has always been yours. You stop living as a victim of chance and start living as the author of your experience. The practical application involves a moment-by-moment vigilance, catching yourself whenever you slip back into the old pattern of lack or limitation. Each time you notice yourself thinking, speaking, or acting as if you're still waiting for prosperity, you have the opportunity to pivot back to the truth of your abundance. This consistent realignment is what eventually transforms your entire reality. If you're beginning to experience this profound shift, from waiting for evidence to knowing despite appearances, share "I believe before I see" in the comments. This declaration solidifies your commitment to this revolutionary way of being. Now, I want to go even deeper into understanding your authentic identity as it relates to abundance. There's a profound shift that occurs when you move beyond simply using manifestation techniques to fundamentally recognizing who you truly are. At the core of your being, beyond all the conditioning and limiting beliefs, your true identity is that of a receiver, a divine channel through which infinite wealth naturally flows. This isn't spiritual metaphor or positive psychology. It's a recognition of your essential nature. Just as a flower naturally receives sunlight and a river naturally receives rain, you were designed to receive abundance without strain or struggle. This receptivity isn't something you need to create or develop. It's already encoded in your spiritual DNA. You're rediscovering what was always true rather than becoming something new. When you truly embody this identity, everything shifts. You no longer approach manifestation as something you do. It becomes who you are. You're not trying to attract prosperity through effort or technique. You're simply expressing your natural state of being. This subtle but profound distinction completely transforms your relationship with abundance. Think about how different this perspective is from conventional wisdom. Most people see themselves as seekers of wealth, constantly striving and pushing to acquire what they lack. but you're awakening to the revelation that you're actually a magnet for prosperity, not metaphorically, but as your authentic identity. You don't chase abundance. You simply open yourself to receive what's already flowing toward you. This identity shift creates a completely different energetic signature. Instead of broadcasting the frequency of want and lack, you naturally emit the vibration of having and being. This isn't pretense or visualization. It's alignment with your deepest truth. And the universe always responds to who you're being rather than what you're doing. From this transformed identity, every lottery ticket you purchase becomes part of a greater pattern. You're not participating in a game of chance like everyone else. You're engaging with a perfect law. While others rely on statistical probability and random luck, you're operating from an entirely different paradigm, one where your consciousness shapes your reality with mathematical precision. This is the fundamental difference between gambling and creating. A gambler hopes for a favorable outcome while knowing the odds are stacked against them. A creator knows the outcome is determined by their state of consciousness rather than external probabilities. One lives at the mercy of chance. The other walks confidently by divine law. The revelation that's transforming your relationship with manifestation is that you don't win by luck. You win by identity. When you fully embody the consciousness of someone who naturally receives, who consistently prospers, who always wins, the external world has no choice but to reflect this inner reality. This isn't magical thinking. It's the operation of the same immutable principle that governs every aspect of creation. This journey requires a complete revolution in how you see yourself. Each time you catch yourself thinking or behaving from the old identity of lack, you have the opportunity to realign with your true nature as a receiver of infinite good. This consistent realignment eventually becomes your default state, not something you practice, but simply who you are. If you're feeling this identity shift awakening within you, share "I am a natural receiver" in the comments. Claiming this truth publicly is a powerful step in embodying your authentic prosperity consciousness. Now, let's explore a profound revelation about the nature of lottery numbers that completely transforms how you approach selection. Most people believe the winning combination is generated randomly each time, a product of statistical chance with no inherent meaning. But what if the truth is far more extraordinary? What if the winning numbers already exist in the field of infinite potential, waiting patiently for someone aligned to receive them? This perspective isn't mystical thinking. It's actually aligned with quantum physics, which reveals that all possibilities exist simultaneously in the quantum field, before observation collapses them into a single reality. The winning lottery numbers aren't created at the moment of the drawing. They already exist as part of a perfect pattern in this field of potential. Your journey isn't about guessing correctly. It's about aligning your consciousness with the numbers that are already yours. Think about the radical shift this creates in your approach. You're no longer randomly selecting digits, hoping to match a future drawing. You're actually tuning your awareness to receive the specific sequence that's already connected to you in the invisible realm. This isn't wishful thinking. It's working with the architecture of reality itself. When you truly embrace this understanding, number selection becomes an entirely different process. Rather than analyzing past drawings, tracking hot numbers, or using birth dates and anniversaries, you begin listening to the subtle voice of intuition. You open yourself to receive guidance from the same infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and coordinates ecosystems. This divine intelligence communicates with you through various channels when you're properly attuned to receive. Sometimes it arrives as a whisper, numbers that subtly but persistently draw your attention. Sometimes it comes through dreams, specific sequences that appear with unusual clarity during sleep. Sometimes it manifests as inexplicable feelings, a sense of rightness or resonance with certain digits that defies logical explanation. The revelation that transforms your lottery experience is recognizing that this guidance isn't random coincidence or imagination. It's actually divine intelligence speaking directly to you through the language of intuition. This isn't guesswork or Superstition, it's alignment with the perfect pattern that already exists. Behind the scenes of this process is a profound truth that most people never discover. The universe is fundamentally conscious and communicative. It's constantly sending you personalized guidance tailored precisely to your journey. Most people are simply too distracted, too analytical, or too skeptical to receive these subtle communications. But when you quiet the mind and open the heart, this guidance becomes increasingly clear. The practical application involves creating regular moments of receptive silence. Before selecting lottery numbers, take a few deep breaths and center yourself in the knowing that the perfect numbers already exist. Set the intention to receive them clearly, then listen without attachment or anxiety. Record whatever impressions arise without judgment or analysis. Trust that what comes through this receptive state is exactly what you need. This approach represents a complete paradigm shift. From conventional number selection, you're no longer trying to outsmart a random system through calculation or strategy. You're simply aligning with what already exists, receiving what's already yours, and participating in a divine orchestration that transcends human understanding. If you've ever experienced that unmistakable feeling of knowing, a quiet certainty about specific numbers that seem to come from beyond your thinking mind, share "I trust the numbers that find me" in the comments. Your experience is part of a much larger pattern of divine communication. Now, I want to go even deeper into a profound truth that completely reframes how you approach manifestation. While the world constantly tries to figure things out, analyze patterns, and manipulate outcomes through external effort, you've discovered a completely different path. You operate from the inside out, recognizing that you're not trying to acquire something foreign to you. You're simply receiving what already belongs to you in the invisible realm. This revelation transforms your entire manifestation journey. Most people approach the lottery like archaeologists, digging and searching for clues, analyzing past drawings, tracking trends, and employing complex systems, all in an attempt to uncover something hidden. But you've awakened to a much more profound reality. The winning numbers aren't something you need to hunt for or discover through intellectual effort. They're already yours, simply waiting for you to claim them through alignment. Think about the radical shift this creates in your energy and approach. You're no longer frantically searching, constantly questioning if you've found the right combination. There's a peaceful certainty that comes from knowing you're not acquiring something new, but simply receiving what's already been prepared for you. This isn't wishful thinking. It's alignment with the deeper mechanics of reality itself. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this principle perfectly when she taught that demonstration follows recognition. You don't create your good through effort or struggle. You simply recognize and claim what was always yours by divine right. This applies to lottery wins just as it does to any other form of abundance. You're not convincing the universe to give you something it's been withholding. You're aligning with what's already been allocated to you. When those intuitive nudges begin to arrive, when certain numbers seem to find you rather than you finding them, you enter a sacred crossroads. This is where most people sabotage their manifestation through second-guessing. The analytical mind immediately jumps in with doubts, questions, and logical objections. That can't be right. I need more evidence. This doesn't make rational sense. The breakthrough comes when you recognize that this guidance doesn't need to make logical sense, because it's operating from a dimension beyond logic. You're not engaged in a mathematical equation. You're participating in a conversation with the divine. Trying to analyze intuitive guidance with the rational mind is like trying to measure temperature with a ruler. You're using the wrong instrument for the job. Behind the scenes of this process is a profound transformation in how you relate to uncertainty. Most people fear what they can't logically understand or control. But when you trust your spiritual knowing over analytical thinking, uncertainty becomes an adventure rather than a threat. You're not blindly following random impulses. You're honoring the wisdom that flows from your connection to infinite intelligence. This level of trust represents one of the most significant evolutions in human consciousness. The ability to value knowing over thinking, to prioritize wisdom over analysis. This doesn't mean abandoning discernment. It means recognizing that the highest form of discernment often comes through intuitive clarity rather than logical processing. If you've experienced that unmistakable inner knowing that transcends logical understanding, that quiet voice that speaks with authority beyond explanation, share "I trust my inner guidance" in the comments. This sacred trust is the doorway to your most profound manifestations. Now, I want to go even deeper into what happens after you've received those intuitive numbers, that moment when you've written them down and you're waiting for the manifestation to unfold. This is where another level of spiritual mastery becomes essential, trusting in divine timing. Most people approach manifestation with an unconscious demand that it happen on their preferred schedule. They've done the inner work, they've received the guidance, and now they want results immediately. But this anxious urgency actually creates resistance that slows the entire process. Real power, genuine creative force, honors and respects divine order. There is a precise, perfect moment when all elements align for your manifestation. When the numbers you've received match with the drawing that's destined for you. This alignment isn't random or arbitrary. It's orchestrated with exquisite precision by an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind can comprehend. Your job isn't to force this timing or to question it. Your job is simply to trust it. This level of trust represents a profound surrender that most people never develop. It's the ability to release your manifestation completely, knowing it's already done in consciousness, and will appear in form at exactly the right moment. This isn't passive resignation, it's active faith, a dynamic, powerful stance of certainty that transcends anxiety and impatience. Florence Scovel Shinn described this brilliantly when she taught that the thing you seek is seeking you. The lottery win you desire isn't something distant or separate from you. It's actually moving toward you at the same time you're moving toward it. The divine timing represents that perfect moment of convergence, when your consciousness and your manifestation meet in physical form. The revelation that transforms this waiting period from anxiety to peace is recognizing that time itself is part of the illusion. In the invisible realm where creation begins, there is no waiting, no delay, no time as we understand it. Your lottery win already exists as a complete reality. It's simply flowing into your physical experience according to perfect divine order. Now, I want to go even deeper into the mysterious power of your declarations. Every time you affirm, "I am a natural winner, I always receive," you're doing something far more significant than just practicing positive psychology. You're literally creating a vibrational imprint in the quantum field, an energetic signature that the universe must respond to according to immutable law. This declaration isn't wishful thinking or empty words. It's a spiritual broadcast that ripples through the fabric of reality itself. You're telling the universe, "This is who I am, this is what I embody." And the universe, which operates through perfect reflection, has no choice but to mirror this declaration back to you in physical form. Behind the scenes of this manifestation process is the profound truth that consciousness is the only causative power in the cosmos. Your thoughts, feelings, and especially your declarations of truth aren't just subjective experiences. They're creative forces that shape the objective world around you. Each time you declare your truth with conviction, you're participating in the fundamental creative process that governs all reality. If you can feel the transformative power of trusting divine timing in your own life, share "I surrender to perfect timing" in the comments. This recognition of the perfect orchestration at work is itself a powerful catalyst for manifestation. As we draw this journey to a close, I want to acknowledge what's happened here. This isn't just information you've consumed, it's a seed of transformation that's been planted in your consciousness. The principles we've explored together about becoming a natural receiver, trusting divine timing, and walking by spiritual law rather than chance aren't just concepts. They're gateways to a completely new relationship with abundance. If something within you has stirred during our time together, if you felt that quiet resonance of recognition, it's because these truths were already encoded in your being, waiting to be awakened. This isn't the end of your journey. It's simply the beginning of a profound remembering of who you truly are. I create these messages because I've witnessed firsthand the life-changing power of these principles when applied with genuine conviction. If you'd like to continue this exploration of consciousness and creation with me, simply press the subscribe button below. Each video builds upon these foundational truths, creating a pathway of progressive awakening. What you've received today is just one piece of a much larger puzzle, a single thread in a magnificent tapestry of abundance consciousness. There's a video right here that takes these principles even deeper, showing you how to apply them specifically to other areas of your life beyond financial prosperity. Click and continue with me there when you feel ready to expand this awareness. If this message found a home in your heart today, I'd love to hear from you. Simply write, "This resonates with my soul," in the comments. Your declaration becomes part of your manifestation process, anchoring these truths more firmly in your consciousness. And if you found value in our time together, a simple like on this video helps others on a similar path discover these transformative principles as well. It's a small action that creates ripples of positive impact for those who are ready to receive this message. Remember, you are a natural winner. You always receive. And this truth isn't something you need to chase or struggle for. It's simply who you are at the very core of your being.